all diseases start with the gut and end with the gut. There are 7 stages of diseases. Stage 7 is cancer, autoimmune disease, neurodegenerative disease, diabetes. Stage 1 is gut problems. Just by studying your gut, we already know in X years it's gonna go to stage 2.
I agree with you that the gut can be the root of all evil. Like our gut should not be something that draws our attention to it during the course of a normal day.
92% of your serotonin is created in the gut. Your hormones, your energy in the gut. You clean that, suddenly you have more energy to fight any other problem yet you have.
And sometimes you use peptides to optimize hormones. I had a very scary moment with my mother. She got put into a rehab facility, so she laid in bed for 45 days. Her cognitive function declined so quickly. One of the peptides that I used to walk her out of this was cerebrolysine. I cannot tell you the change in her. It was like the lights were off and they came on.
Before actually taking peptides, you want to make sure your body will actually accept it and make it stronger. Peptides are messengers molecules. While if you take hormones, it overrides your own biology. Peptides don't override, they bring it just back to how it should be.
So for people that are looking to improve cognitive function, how are these peptides administered?
If your hormones are not in balance, my advice will still be
Hey guys, welcome back to the Ultimate Human Podcast. I'm your host, human biologist Gary Brecka, where we go down the road of everything anti-aging, biohacking, longevity, and everything in between. And this is a special podcast coming to you live from Dubai, United Arab Emirates. And I have found some of the most unique and qualified individuals in the world on this side of the planet. And I've spent time with them. I've gotten to know them. There is so much advancement in modern medicine, the way that modern medicine thinks on this side of the world because of the buy-off that you have from the regulatory authorities, that you have from royal families in this region. And this guest today is one of those rare podcasts that I think I'm going to go back and watch and probably end up taking notes. This man is an absolute wealth of knowledge in topics that I am deeply interested in, that you're deeply interested in, not the least of which is peptides, weight loss, hormone therapy for the younger generation that wants to be on testosterone replacement therapy, but it's too early to start them. Guys, buckle your seats. This is going to be an incredible ride, and I think you're going to get as much out of it as I intend to get out of it. Welcome to the podcast, Noah Laith.
Thank you, Gary, for having me.
You're an amazing human, man.
Thank you.
We just left Noah's clinic, called the Longevity Clinic here in Dubai. He's got a number of these around the area, and I did in-use pheresis. And why don't we start by describing the procedure that I just did. It's a blood filtration procedure. It has to do with the plasma. But what can I expect? What did I experience? And what was the objective of what I did today in your clinic?
So yeah, that's actually a very good question. You see, there is a delay between medical science coming mainstream and becoming discovered. And the average delay is 17.2 years. In-use pheresis is one of them. It exists for a couple of decades.
Right. Plasma exchange has been around for forever.
Exactly. The difference between TPE and in-use pheresis is that it doesn't take anything from your body and keeps it away. It brings everything back. Right. So albumin and all the other biomarkers, it keeps it in your body. The only thing that it takes, which you can see it, is the microplastic, the inflammatory protein and heavy metals and other toxins.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see,
I talk
let's say,
a
in the
lot
back.
about this on my platform too.
And I like, because not everyone has 2, 3, 4 hours a day to work on their health. So I like to work on the Pareto principle of the Pareto principle. What is the 20 of the 20% that you can do that will optimize your health, your energy, your brain, whatever you want to optimize. And taking toxins is one of these 5 elements that I believe and push into our patients to do consistently and systematically.
Right. Because, we live in a toxic world, right? And what was astounding to me and continues to just blow my mind are the toxins that are found in my blood. Glyphosate. It's not a shocker, but I am very diligent about what I eat, but I still do eat out in restaurants. I travel quite a bit. I do my best, but I had high amounts of glyphosate in my blood, and lower now thanks to things like inuphoresis. But also things like jet fuels and butylenes and these flame retardants, fire accelerants. These chemicals, like, yes, I fly commercial airplanes and I sometimes fly private and I walk out on the tarmac, but I mean, it can't be the amount of jet fuel. It's got to be coming from the aerosols in the environment.
Exactly.
And,
hotels.
Yeah. And so inuphoresis, they put a line in one of my arteries and into another one, veins, both sides, and they took the blood out, put it through a filtration machine, and then put it back in. And when we were done, and I'll post pictures about this, we were done, you actually could see at the bottom of this big triangular bag of fluid the heavy metals and the microplastics. So I'm not aware of a microplastic detox other than something like this.
Yes.
Are you?
No. There are some slower binders to microplastics, but not so heavy and so intense. And
Right.
it's created obviously for acute in hospitals, for acute intoxications, and that's why now we use it as preventive.
Right.
So yeah.
I've read some studies that estimate that we have more than a credit card of microplastics in our bodies at any given time. Enough that if you were to pull it all out and melt it down, you'd be able to make your own credit card.
And microplastic actually is one of the we have a couple of oncologists and neuropathologists that study how toxins affect mutations and cancer. And it's one of the proofs that microplastic does induce or help proliferate cancer faster in your body.
Yeah, and also that it's a part of the plaquing process. That's also what's fascinating. This fibrinogen bonding that occurs when cholesterol is oxidized and begins to make these plaques that narrow our arteries. They find heavy amounts of microplastics in these plaque formations.
Yes.
And so being prophylactic and preventative about getting these things out of your body, already as we sat down today, I said, man, I feel really clear and I kind of feel good all the time. I'm kind of a bad test subject because I have energy all the time.
Day.
And I feel pretty good most always. But the reports that come out that I see when these filters are flushed and the contents that are coming out of the vast, you've never seen anybody do this treatment and not have something coming out.
As we jokingly, it's not how much toxic you are, but it's not if, but it's more how much.
Yeah.
Right. It's that's especially with microplastic. And also we get a lot of people that wants to be on hormones or peptides or whatever treatments, cleaning your receptors, which is detoxifying metals and toxins and microplastics, will make the procedure just much more bioavailable and better absorbable.
Well, we know that if you clean the terrain before you do any procedure, like a stem cell procedure or an exosome or natural killer cell, you have less distracting the immune system. I've been talking a lot on my platform lately about this, the theory, it's not really a theory, it's a proven scientific fact of immunofatigue, slow, progressive overwhelming of the immune system over time. And these microtoxins are one of the things that do it. And now at least we have mechanisms that can remove these from the body. You talked about 5 other pillars, and you said one of them was things like blood filtration.
The 5 elements to never be sick, to always be on high level of output is taking out the elimination of toxins, microplastics, and toxins and heavy metals, and that's one fundamental element that is the 20 of the 20%, let's say.
Okay, and then what are the other 4 elements? Can we dig into those?
Yeah, definitely. The second thing that we focus on our clients, on family and friends, is your gut. We have this, Hippocrates said it, we always also said it, all diseases start with the gut and end with the gut.
Yes.
And actually there are 7 stages of diseases, 7 phases. The stage 7 is what we called the fungation stage. And stage 1 is innervation. So stage 7 is like cancer, autoimmune disease, neurodegenerative disease, diabetes, all the nasty diseases. Stage 1 is gut problems. Gut problems, it can be as simple that I'm not having a bowel movement every day. It can be that the look out of it and how it comes out is not ideal. It's too hard or too soft or too strong or small pieces. Just by studying your gut, we already know that in X years, if you continue like this, it's going to go to stage 2. And that's why we get people and they said, I don't understand. My father, how he got cancer or how he got a heart attack. He trained 5 days per week. He eats quite healthy, but suddenly this happens. Well, no, he didn't eat quite healthy. You know, there was some processes beforehand that he did not listen to it because we forgot to listen.
Right.
We forgot to listen on the symptoms.
So where does because I want to focus on the gut. I spend a lot of time talking about the gut, and I happen to agree with you. I think all things start and end with the gut. I was first turned on to this by a doctor named Dr. Perlmutter. He wrote a book called Grain Brain, and he wrote another one called The Gut-Brain Connection. And it was the first time that I really drew my attention. This was years ago, more than 10 years ago, 12 years ago, drew my attention to just a vast array of issues that human beings suffer from that come from the gut. You know, in eczema and psoriasis, there are these specific classes of bacteria that are missing in the vast majority of these patients. In autism and neurodevelopmental disorders, you see very similar classes of bacteria. In acromantia being linked, deficiencies in acromantia being linked to cancer. So where does a good gut protocol start? Because I think people have paralysis of analysis over how do we treat the gut.
Yes.
How do you test it? How do you fix it?
Yes, that's a very good question. So first, just to reply on what you said, for example, autistic children, the protocol will be totally different than if it's just someone who has constant diarrhea or constant constipation, which, by the way, diarrhea is another form of constipation. So we did it with 82 children where we did stool transplantation.
Fecal transplant.
Yes, exactly. And the effect were amazing. But no one has to go to that level, right? For a normal person is first studying his gut. Okay. Studying his gut means seeing what kind of parasite there is, what kind of bacteria overgrowth there is, doing some tests like SIBO, like breath tests, and
you can do the breath test is for SIBO, but you do these through a stool test. You take a stool sample, you send it into a lab.
Exactly. Okay. But SIBO now they have a cheaper way to test, just through a breath test.
Right, to the breath.
So that's on one hand if you just want to make sure everything is okay.
I'm saying if I'm starting my journey, you would say start with a stool test for the gut. Get that information.
If you have problems. If you don't have problems, like if you come in a room and there is mold there and there's garbage everywhere, you don't go there and say, let's test what kind of bacteria are on the floor. No, just clean the room. Right? And that's it. That will do 99% of the... So what you want to do is clean once or twice per year your guts. Like how many times do you brush your teeth per year? Stupid question, Noah. Every day, of course. Right. Well, how much do you do that with your gut? Oh, I never did it. Okay, well, let's start doing that. So how do we do that? It's a
very specifically.
Very specific. It's a whole protocol where we clean. First, we pause. We give a break, a vacation to your gut, which means on a 3-4 days water fast. Right?
Huge fan.
That already will calm the system, will kill and clean up the zombie cell, the senescent cell. And then we add very specific herbs and specific protocol where 5-6 times per day you drink a glass with bentonite clay and psyllium husk and add all these compounds, herbs that clean the gut and scratch the walls of your intestines. And when you scratch the walls of your intestines, suddenly after day 3, 4, 5, there is the mucoid plaque that comes all in one out of your body.
And really, not to be too gross, guys, but this is literally like having a shedded snake skin come out of the back door.
Out of your body.
And it panics people and freaks people out. But, you know, they're on the inside luminal wall of your gut. I mean, there's only a single cell layer separating your inside environment from your outside environment. And this gets coated with these mucoid plaques.
Yes.
And if you think about that, that's not allowing us to absorb nutrients.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And
it's like painting a filter.
And the old nutrients that you ate that got stuck between the mucoid plaque and the walls and they start there to mold and to create a lot of disbalance, dysbiosis of your gut. And when we take it out, people, they told me that they got food out of their body they didn't eat for 7 years, 10 years.
Wow.
It was stuck on the walls of the gut, of the intestines. So just cleaning that is a great habit.
So psyllium husk, bentonite clay, which is a binder.
Yeah, but all type of binders and some herbs. But I will advise you always to do it with someone that has experience in this, because you're going to have a healing crisis. And some people are going to have a healing crisis. What does it mean? Is you do that, and then on day 2 or 3, you feel worse than day 1. And you think, this is not working for me. No, it's actually working. Yeah. I always congratulate patients when they're feeling worse, means the body is working to clean itself. And when I got married to my wife, our honeymoon, we did a cleanse.
Okay.
And on day 3, she got eczema all on her body, and she said, I'm not sure if you really love me or not. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And
sounds like a great honeymoon to me, man. Wow.
It was because I wanted to start our future on a clean page. Right.
Listen, there's what I share on this podcast, and then there's what I share with my inner circle. If you've been following me for a while, you know how I hold nothing back here. But my VIP community, that's where the real magic happens. Picture this. You're struggling with energy crashes, brain fog, or just feeling like you're not operating at your peak and you don't know where to get real answers. But here's what really sets this apart. You're not just getting my insights. When I have incredible guests on the podcast, VIP members get to submit questions for a private podcast segment. So that world-renowned expert we just interviewed, you get exclusive access to their knowledge tailored to your specific situation. This section is under the private podcast section in the Ultimate Human community. And speaking of exclusive, you're getting my personal protocols, the exact tools I use for water fasting, gut optimization, and morning routines that have taken me decades to perfect. This isn't theory. This is what works in the real world. The community launches challenges throughout the year where you get direct access to me and my network of experts. It's like having a personal health advisory board for less than $100 a month. Your health is your wealth, and this investment pays dividends for life. Join the VIP community at theultimatehuman.com/VIP and step into your ultimate potential. Now let's get back to the Ultimate Human podcast.
So if you want to think about making someone pregnant, if you have brain fog, if you're tired, if you're not building muscles, if you have erection problems or low libido, like anything, start with the gut.
Yeah.
Right? You clean that, suddenly you have more energy to fight any other problem yet you have. Right? And I get a lot of clients that have emotional responses. Like they're big guys that are crying suddenly for nothing.
Yeah.
Because they released so much. There is a reason why we say, my gut feeling. Well, is there actually a really connection, as you said, with the writer, with your brain?
Yes.
92% of your serotonin is created in the gut.
That's true.
And guess what serotonin is? It's a precursor for melatonin. So your sleep is regulated in your gut. You have 400 times more receptors, melatonin receptors in your gut than in your brain. So if you cannot sleep, optimize your gut.
Right.
Your hormones in the gut. Your energy in the gut. So everything is in the gut.
Yes.
So that's why.
So first it's like this. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's why you want to focus on the needle mover. And your gut is a needle mover. And if you do it twice per year is my advice. Not more than 3 days, to be honest with you. There are some people who do 7-10 days. We see a lot of sarcopenia or like loss of muscle mass if it's too long. Not needed. Your optimal 3 days.
Yeah,
3-day water fast with a protocol.
So glad you said that. I take people through 3-day water fasts all the time. So I'm happy you support that. So 3-day water fast, then begin this protocol to cleanse the gut.
Yeah.
Psyllium husks, herbs, binders with someone that knows what they're
sauna.
doing.
You can add, so you can stack many things.
Yeah.
You can stack many things, but the root is cleaning your gut, combining this with hydrocolon therapy. Definitely adding hydrocolon therapy to it.
Which is colonics.
It's different than colonics.
Okay, what is the difference?
Hydrocolon therapy is a bit deeper. And my preference is not machine because you cannot feel the pressure on the machine. I prefer self-regulated because you'll feel when something is stuck. And then you
Right.
can massage it and then take it out slower than a machine, which
Okay.
is better.
And so this is like coffee enemas.
It can be. I start always with coffee enema in the first days, and then transit it to wheatgrass juice or any other type of added binders or added feeding nutrition.
Now, if somebody's going to, that's a home therapy. So how many days of these colon hydrotherapy do you do?
So
you've done a 3-day water fast, and in combination with using the xylem husks and the binders, which are actually working your way through the small intestine and haven't dumped into the colon yet.
Yes.
Colon hydrotherapy is only going to work on the colon, right? That upside down U, that ascending, transverse, descending colon. And you use these home enemas.
Well, I don't use home enemas.
Okay.
I prefer to go to a place to do it.
Okay. Because you said do it to yourself so you can.
Like when you're lying, you want to push your massage, or someone massage you, or massage yourself to bit open the heart stool, and it's black. When it comes out, it's black. It has been there for many years.
Wow.
Right. So you want to push it sometimes with the herbs, and the hydrocolon therapy is just makes everything easier.
Right.
And you're going to be tired. You're going to feel slugged. There are some healing symptoms that you're going to have. You want to have a team around you that do it. You can do it at home. I did it many times at home,
right?
But I prefer to do it at a place.
Right.
And the water fast is 3 days, but the whole procedure is 7 to 10 days.
Right.
Because how you enter such a fast is as important as how you go out of it.
Right.
So I usually start with 2 days only bone broth.
Dude, did this guy just read my fasting guide? No, that's exactly what I do too.
Yeah, a lot of people do juicing, like vegetable juice or fruit juice. Not my advice.
Not my advice either.
Yeah.
Too high on the glycemic index.
Exactly. That if it's fruit juice, and too much oxalates if it's only vegetables, right? So I prefer bone broth first 2 days while doing colon hydrotherapy, while taking herbs to make everything softer, and because what happens is when you stop using digestive enzymes, the digestive enzymes, they are on the bench and they say, hey guys, we're not doing anything. Let's change our function to metabolic enzymes. And they start repairing your body.
Yes.
While you are in bone broth phase.
Wow.
And then you go in water phase, and then you got out of it the same how you entered. Again, another 2 days of bone broth.
2 days of bone broth going in, 3 days of water, 2 days of bone broth coming out.
Exactly.
Okay. And during that time, you're doing colon hydrotherapy, and during that time, you're also taking herbs and binders to
and rest. And you're gonna sleep way longer because your body is really working. You're gonna might have eczema because your body is detoxifying so fast, the organs are not keeping up, and then they use the skin. I always congratulate our patient when that happens. It means you had a lot of things stuck and it's going out of you.
Right.
And you need to keep continuing it until it stops getting your eczema and things going out of your...
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel much more tired, but sometimes like I'm at midnight, open my eyes and I said to my wife, let's go out for a walk. And we went out for a walk because we had so much energy, because the body was in homeostasis and it had the energy.
Yes.
And we went and we hear suddenly in the forest, it was in Thailand, a party. We went to that party. It was middle in the jungle. We partied harder than people. People came to us and said, what you have, can we have it also?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to take what I'm taking.
It's a colon hydrotherapy, bro. Some bentonite clay and bone broth. Yeah, you're not the life of the party bringing bone broth to a rave. So and then and coming out of the bone broth on the other side, and now it's time to go in and repopulate the gut, I would assume.
Yes.
And what mechanisms are you using to repopulate the gut? I mean, I'm a huge fan of fermented vegetables, things like that. But
yes. So that depends of where you are in your life. If you come to us and you have Hashimoto, if you come to us and you have leaky gut, IBD, then we're gonna put you on a severe gut reset protocol, which we start with it. But we will add BPC 157 oral, not injection.
Yes.
Right?
Dude,
oral
huge
to rebuild the lining of your gut. right? We're going to add L-glutamine to it because we've seen huge benefit. 1 + 1 becomes 15 once you add BPC with L-glutamine.
With
right?
L-glutamine.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why is that? That's an amino acid.
Yes, amino acid that rebuilt the lining of your gut.
Okay.
It's very interesting. We've seen great result with that. We will add essential amino acids. I see you have it here.
Yeah.
We added injection way just to, if someone is sick. If not, this is super.
Right.
So we will add a whole couple of things to rebalance. If they have an overgrowth of parasites, you know, we usually add always during that period a parasite cleanse. Usually herbal.
Yes.
But if someone has a big overgrowth of parasites, then that's the only moment where, sorry to say it, we go chemical. Medical.
Yeah. You go pharmaceutical. And I'm actually a fan of fenbendazole and ivermectin, and you know, because you know, I've seen miracles with these, and there are countries all over the world that have been using these for decades that very safely, and they do regular parasite cleanses.
Yes,
in fact, there is a theory, a well-documented, evidence-based theory on multiple sclerosis that this is related to parasitic imbalance. You know, when we lose our healthy parasitic flora, you have an overgrowth of the pathogenic parasites. Not all parasites are bad, right? I mean, some of the parasites
that's a misconception.
Yeah,
parasites create cancer. Parasite creates a lot of diseases. No, parasite proliferate when your body is weak, which is when you have cancer and MS and other things. So you want to, once you are there, then we go chemically.
Yeah. So, and again, this information is coming from a stool test. So if you get this stool test back and you have all these parasitic flora, then all of a sudden your need to do an intense parasitic cleanse becomes
and we advise
necessity.
PCR stool PCR testing, like DNA of the parasite. You know, because parasites are amazing in playing hide and seek.
So you have to actually look at the exudate from a parasite,
exactly.
a parasite stool,
the
if you will.
It's parasite stool.
So because these parasites, they outgas, they create all kinds of other compounds. Those go into the stool, and if you send it through a PCR machine, this polymerase chain reaction machine, which is the same way that they test for COVID antibodies, and I mean the COVID virus, you get a very accurate profile of what it is. You know the species and the genus and everything, and you can go right after.
And once you know which type, you can also create a protocol that's faster for that type.
Right. And then, so now you handle the parasites. Where do the probiotics come in? And then walk me through a diet that you would recommend for these kinds of
So that's a very important topic. Probiotics and prebiotics. We get a lot of men and women, I'm already on probiotics, so my gut is good. I don't understand why I have diarrhea all the time. Well, because too much of everything is too much. Right. So we get a lot of women who have candida from taking probiotics.
Right.
So you want to support it with some probiotics. I prefer just the natural. If you're healthy and you just want to optimize after a cleanse, natural route. What is natural route? I always add fermented food in every meal. It's better for digestion. It's better for your flora and fauna. It's better. And it has been in our lives for thousands and thousands of years. Very true. I'm a believer in the marriage between science, evidence-based science, and my great-grandmother recipes. Why? Because you have to think like this. The older the food, the older the habit, the more our body has adapted to it. Carrots are 300 years. Bananas are 700 years. But chlorella and bone broth exist for millions of years. And we have adapted to that old food, and like fermented food is one of them, much longer. So our body has adapted to it much longer. That's why we absorb 98% of algae comparing to 17% of carrots. Right? It's because our body has adapted.
So you would very often put them on a cholera or chlorella supplement.
Chlorella, we have seen huge benefits for people who don't want or can't do inospheresis or other things. And within 2 years, you can take 98% of the heavy metals if you have the right type of chlorella and the right type of protocol.
Right.
So for me, for reversing or maintaining, chlorella protocol is amazing.
Do you take chlorella?
I take chlorella, yes.
What, and how do you take it? In a capsule form or?
No, that's that's not how you want to take it.
Okay.
You want it that the cell membrane is broken, it's organic and powder form.
Powder form.
Powder form. 1 tablespoon, perfect. It doesn't
In
taste.
a little bit of water.
Yeah, with water.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with water.
Mix it up and just
Mix
whack
it up
back.
and drink it, and then don't take any supplements or minerals before 30 minutes before or after.
Okay.
Because they're binders.
And you do this daily.
I do that. No, I cycle it 3 months on, 3 months off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and then now that we've walked them out of there and they're probably feeling a lot better, the skin clears up, you're having regular bowel movements, which, I think is one of the easiest ways to determine whether or not you're metabolically healthy is whether or not you get up and within 45 minutes of waking, you're having a bowel movement, because if you're not, something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Or if you have those irritable bowel syndrome like, symptoms, the gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, irritability, and cramping, we're not actually supposed to ever be paying attention to our gut. Like our gut should not be something that draws our attention to it during the course
until
of a normal day.
1938. Until 1938, colon hydrotherapy was a room in every hospital in the world.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
And they took it out.
Who, the Rockefellers?
Not mentioning names.
Okay. Yeah. Probably the Rockefellers. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So I first of all, I agree with you that the gut can be the root of all evil. Another fascinating area that you and I overlap in a lot, I think you have a greater depth of knowledge than even I do, is in the peptide world. I've been a fan of peptides for well over a decade. I've done a lot of studying and researching on peptides. It's nice to see now in the United States, our federal government is beginning to widen the lanes for peptides. For a while, there were the lights were getting very dim on peptides. But I think everybody listening to this podcast has heard of peptides. Walk me through what they are, what they do, and then let's take some classes of goals that people have.
Okay.
Burning fat, building lean muscle, improving their skin, brain fog, energy, and then the folks that just want to be on the longevity bandwagon, telomerase lengthening, peptides, and what have you.
Here's something most people don't realize. Salt isn't just about flavor. It's about biology. Your cells need minerals to make energy, hydrate properly, and function at their best. That's why we created the new Baja Gold Shakers, naturally harvested straight from the Sea of Cortez, unrefined, lightly air-dried, and loaded with essential trace minerals. This isn't table salt. It's nature salt. The taste is richer. The mineral profile is unmatched, and you can use it every day in your kitchen, on your table, and every single recipe. And now you can pick it up at Walmart. Make the switch to Baja Gold. Your taste buds and your biology will thank you.
Now let's get back to the Ultimate Human podcast.
Well, let's start with the big one, which is fat metabolism. Because nobody that says I want to lose weight means anything other than I want to lose fat. Right? That's really what
that's exactly, because sometimes we get patients and I tell them, well, you're not going to lose weight because I'm going to make you build muscles, and muscles weight more than fat. Right. So that's a very good point. You say fat loss. Right. I mean, look, peptides are, like the biblical medical description is that there are between 2 to 50 chains of amino acids, right? The truth is we have also some that are 60 and 70s, but let's say 2 to 50. And what do? They actually don't do anything. They don't add anything to your body except they are messengers molecules. So they tell your body to bring your body back into equibalance. Okay. Right. While if you take hormones, it push your biology. It override your own biology, and peptides don't override. They bring it just back to how it should be. Supplements, minerals, or vitamins, they are building blocks. Right. Peptides don't build anything. They just tell your body go on lower inflammation, higher blood pressure, lower blood pressure, and they bring it back to homeostasis. Right. That is what peptides are. So why is it you cannot do anti-aging without using peptides? It's because as you get older, you have 250,000 peptides in your body. We have only synthesized 7,200 of them. And we produce in our lab 82 of them. And these are, when you get older, the reason why, for example, your son if he had an injury, he will heal much faster than you and me, is because the amount of peptides and the activity of his peptides is way more than yours and mine. That's why we have to take it in an exogenous form.
Yes.
In exogenous forms, which
Meaning
will
from outside the body.
Yeah, will reignite our own production.
Right.
So whenever someone comes to me and said, hey, what is the peptide I should take? I said, you should not take any peptides. He said, what do you mean? You sell and you produce them. I said, well, I don't know anything of you.
Yeah.
And peptides are magnifiers. If you have, for example, there are peptides that will induce the production of your own growth hormone,
Yes.
right? Like ipamarin and CGC. And
I've been on those for years. Yeah.
Yes.
On and off, yeah.
Exactly. But if your own bank account of growth hormone is zero, they're going to ignite something that is not existing.
Right.
Right. So when you want to go on peptides, there are a couple of things you want to pay attention to as a foundation. Number one is do blood work with a doctor that understands preventive medicine and understands peptides. Why? Because you can take peptides and they can be not working, and then you come to me and said, oh, this is bullshit, they're not working. Peptides doesn't work on me.
Right.
That's because you have zero on your bank account. There are supplements that downregulate peptides. There are supplements that upregulate peptides. There are peptides that downregulate other peptides. Right? So all these protocols, before actually taking peptides, you want to make sure your body will actually accept it and make it stronger.
So what are some of the ways to do that? Looking at like your IGF-1?
Many things.
Looking at other markers?
Hormones.
Okay.
Is a foundation of pushing peptides. Peptides is like money. It will magnify who you are.
Right.
Right. So peptides, if your hormones are not in balance, if you have too low hormones or too high because of cortisol, then peptides, my advice will still to be taking peptides to do symptoms, but not the root. The root will still be first to optimize your hormones. And often we do it parallel.
Okay.
Just to have fast result, because people think, oh, wow, everything is working. So you want to do it parallel.
And sometimes you use peptides to optimize hormones.
Yes.
To be
if
very
you are,
specific.
depends of your age.
Yeah.
But we always tell them, look, the reason why you have so low hormones is not because you have low peptides, because you're doing other things. Maybe stop sleeping at 2 a.m. and let's go to bed at 10 p.m. Right? Maybe you should stop drinking seed oils or eating them. Maybe you should stop eating some things, adding some supplements. We do the foundation first.
Right.
And then adding the peptides.
Okay.
And we have a lot of patients that, look, no, just fix me. I just want peptides. I'm not going to change my life. Fine, we're going to do it. But we have to educate you that the foundation is XYZ.
Right.
Which is what you're talking about: the gut, the sleep, sunlight, the grounding, the training, the strength training. We build that, and then we add peptides, and then you can add stem cells and gene therapy and whatever you want on top of it.
Right.
But the foundation is you want to work first on the foundation.
So let's talk about some broad categories of peptides. So fat burners, like walk me down the road of MOTS-C, AOD 9604, maybe something like 5-amino 1-MQ.
Yes, we love that.
I love 5-amino 1-MQ as well. And then we'll shift to some other categories, because I have seen, for example, my production manager, Max, as you know, he fell and broke his collarbone here in Dubai, at Ski Dubai, skiing in the middle of the desert. You know what's so funny is every time you tell somebody he broke his collarbone skiing, their first question is, "Are you a good skier?" I'm like, well, obviously not. We just told you he injured himself skiing. So I'm loading Max up with peptides. And he's a young guy, he's a young, healthy guy. So, CGC 1295 and ipamorelin, BPC 157, TB 500. GHKCU, copper peptide, the things that are really good at wound and tissue repair. He had a metal plate put in. So now you've got soft tissue damage, you've got bone repair, you've got connective tissue. So you have a lot of different structures in the body that need to heal. So, but let's start with fat metabolism.
Okay.
What are some of your favorites? How do they act differently? And is it okay to pair them together?
Yes, very good question. So GLP-1, for example, is how many people know about fat loss, right? Tirzepatide, semaglutide, retatrutide. I don't like to prescribe that unless someone is morbid.
Morbidly obese.
Morbidly
then
obese.
It can be life-saving, sure.
Then can be life-saving.
Yeah.
But if not, there are many other peptides that will make the powerhouse of your body and the energy efficiency much higher, which is your mitochondria. MOTS-C is one of them.
Yes.
And if you pair MOTS-C with NAD+, not IV, but micro-injections, daily micro-injections.
50 milligrams a day.
Yeah, you 15, or you can do it 3 times per week, mega dose. Depends of your receptor sensitivity. You have way more benefits. And then you can add SS31, you can add AOD, you can add many other, but the foundation is usually on mitochondrial level. And that's why MOTS-C and SS31 together with an NAD+ are amazing for that.
Okay, MOTS-C, which is a true mitochondrial peptide.
Yes.
There are only 2 of them, I think.
Yes.
So MOTS-C, SS31.
Yes.
And
NAD+.
And NAD+.
Micro injection to feed the mitochondria on a day-to-day basis.
So that would be, and I hate to keep trying to make you say something you don't want to say, but that would be like a favorite
it's my favorite
burning peptide stack.
Yeah, it's my favorite because it's efficient, it's effective, it works fast, and it works on the root cause. And as a byproduct, you feel good, you feel energy.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
And when do you do them? In the morning?
Yes, you wanted MOTS-C, you wanted to do it. So you actually want to take every peptide on a fasted basis. The reason is because you don't want other elements to compete with the pathways.
Right.
And that's why, especially with
or
MOTS-C.
blood sugar.
Or blood sugar, yeah. So that's why MOTS-C fasted always. NAD+ fasted.
So can you take any of those 3 peptides orally?
Whoever tells you I have oral peptides that are as powerful because there's a new technique, a new science, he is BSing you.
Yeah.
Except BPC-157.
Yeah, I agree.
Except KPV. And except
another good one for the gut.
Yes, another one with the gut. And cerebrosin. These are only the 3 that I will vouch that they can work orally.
And cerebrolysin is, the Russians did the vast majority of the research on this peptide. I've used that peptide on my own mother. I had a very scary moment with my mother. She had bilateral knee replacement, and she got put into a rehab facility, inpatient rehab facility, to rehabilitate her, gait and everything to get her back walking. This facility did not get her out of bed for 45 days. So she laid in bed for 45 days, except they would hobble her over to basically wash her down, shower. She would get out of bed, go to the bathroom, get back into bed. Her cognitive function declined so quickly that when I walked into the room with my children, and I'm an only son, she barely recognized me, barely recognized my children, felt like she was being held against her will. She was very confused. It was an awful time. I started peeling back the layers of what happened. It turns out she was sedentary for this long period of time. She had been sedentary before the knee surgery. But one of the peptides that I used to walk her out of this was cerebrolysin. And I went through some channels and got real Russian cerebrolysin. I used the injection and then maintained it with the oral cerebrolysin thereafter. I cannot tell you the change in her in just a few weeks.
It's amazing.
It was like the lights were off and they came on.
Yes.
So I have a deeply personal experience with that. And of course, I'm not licensed to practice medicine. So when I say I've used it in clients, the physicians I've worked with, I've used it in my clients, and with some pretty phenomenal results. So fat burning peptides. Let's move over to cognitive peptides.
Yes,
because we're going there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Cerebrolysin.
Cerebrolysin.
Dihexa.
And again, it also depends what kind. For example, with children that are autistic, we use C-Max and C-Lank with huge amount of success.
Autistic children, C-Max and C-Lank. Now, C-Lank is an anti-anxiolytic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But both work very powerful when they are used together for neurogenesis, for neuroplasticity. It's very, we've seen very beneficially, especially if you add heavy metal detoxifications with autistic children.
I totally agree with that. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get into heavy metal detox.
And then you add the gut, what you said, call it stool, the fecal transplant.
Yeah.
I mean, we have seen up to 90% that you will not recognize the child anymore, that he has any type of autism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about that for sure. But getting back to the cognitive peptides, Selenk, CMAX,
yes.
Dihexa.
Yes, cerebrosin, obviously.
Cerebrolysin, probably
but also
my favorite.
optimizing the gut.
Mhm.
BPC,
Yeah.
157, has a huge effect on the gut.
Yes, I use it all the time for clients with.
If you're talking
issues.
only about peptides, we do a lot of things for cognitive. Actually, one of our favorite patients is the world memory champion, Orkan Ibadov.
How do you become the world memory champion?
Well, a lot of people don't know that there is actually the Olympics for the brain.
No.
Yes, for remembering names, remembering pictures, remembering numbers, remembering languages, speaking languages. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a lady who speaks 72 languages.
No.
She learned one language a month.
Are you serious?
It is. When I told him how I don't have this skill, I think you're born with it. He kind of killed that mindset that I had in the past, which is you are born with a good or bad memory. No.
Right.
No one has a good or bad memory. It's if you have a trained or untrained memory. And I know him when he wasn't world champion, and he was just a normal guy with an obsession to train his brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
If you want protein to build lean muscle, but without the caloric impact or need to cut, you need Perfect Amino. It's pure essential amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, in a precise form and ratio that allows for near 100% utilization in building lean muscle and no caloric impact. So we build protein 6 times as much as whey, but without the excess body fat we normally get during bulking. This is the new era of protein supplementation, and it's real. If you want to build lean muscle without having to cut, you need Perfect Amino.
Now let's get back to the Ultimate Human podcast.
So for people that are looking to improve cognitive function, especially, lots of us just feel like we don't have the focus and concentration that we once had.
Yes.
So those are non-pathological kinds of issues. But then there are the pathologies, Alzheimer's, dementia, early onset cognitive decline. And a lot of us have aging parents and we want to do something for them.
Yes.
So how are these peptides administered? I mean, I have used Selenk through a nasal spray effectively in some clients, never orally.
Yes.
But
orally doesn't.
You can't.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
I totally agree.
Like there's injection or there's nasal.
Yes.
I prefer the nasal because it just go faster to the brain
Right.
than injection, but some people take it as injection also.
So
and we produce both, by the way.
These peptides are safe ways to enhance our cognitive function. And, and what is their mechanism of action? How is cerebrolysin, Selenk, CMAX, Dihexa, what are they doing? I mean, are they stimulating the brain like caffeine? Are they reducing inflammation in the brain?
No.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay.
They're
So what
reducing
is their mechanism?
They reduce inflammation, but they bring it to homeostasis. So how your brain was, it brings it back how it is. The neuroplasticity, the connections, and the receptor sensitivity. Some of them clean the receptors.
Wow.
The Russians, as you said, and that's why actually our team most comes from ex-Soviet and Russian countries, is because they have been the longest studying brain and immunology and longevity than any other country in the world.
Wow.
Right? And they all worked with Vladimir Kevinson, which was the private anti-aging doctor of Putin and even Gorbachev, up to Gorbachev.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. God bless his soul. He died two years ago. And for me, like working with peptides, as I told you, is another layer. But if you want to optimize your brain, you want to optimize your hormones first.
Yes, and your sleep.
Definitely your sleep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Your hormones, your sleep, and training. That will give you, it's a slow process. While if I give you a CMAX or Selenk injection or nasal, it's boom.
Right.
It's suddenly. Oxytocin, I always add it as a layer also to just make you feel good about yourself. When you feel good about yourself, you learn better, you remember better, you're just more present.
Right.
So it depends. Are you a CEO that are going public and you need that energy? Or are you a mother of 3 and you're just overwhelmed with all the responsibilities that you have. Right. So it's a different protocol because you don't want to create the perfect protocol and the person will not execute it.
Right.
Tailored to what your lifestyle is.
I agree. So two more quick categories I want to touch on: muscle building.
Yes.
Because there's growth hormone peptides.
Yes.
And now there are follistatin.
Yes.
They're different than the follistatin gene therapy. There are follistatin peptides.
Yeah.
And follistatin is a myostatin inhibitor, which basically is what stops our muscles from growing, after they respond to a hormetic stress. So in those cases, for folks that are interested in going down the road of adding more muscle, losing more fat, what are some of your favorite peptides in that realm?
My favorite peptides with muscle building is definitely a combination of ipamorelin and CGC. If you are younger than 40.
Ipamorelin and CGC 1295.
Yes.
Yeah.
CGC 1295. If you're younger than 40.
Okay.
If you're older than 40, because what does ipamorelin and CGC do? They ignite your own growth hormone. It's a growth hormone releasing peptide combined with a growth hormone releasing hormone. So it's makes your own body secrete again growth hormones. But again, if your bank account is empty because you're in your 50s, not going to do anything. And I prefer to microdose human growth hormone to our patients who are 50, 60, 70, or 80s.
Right.
They're going to be...
Microdose is like 2 IUs.
Yes.
Not 10 or 20 IUs.
It depends.
2 IUs a microdose.
Between 0.5 to 4 IUs.
Wow.
Depends how old, their goal, are they training, do they have an injury? It depends on many things.
Okay. And then finally, before we wrap up, I want to just touch quickly on heavy metal detox. Because aside from in-use pheresis, which I did today, but can be an expensive procedure. This was a couple $1,000s.
Yes.
Someone listening to this podcast that is concerned about or knows that they have heavy metals, what would be your recommendation for how to walk them out of that? Do you use oral chelation? What are your therapies that you use to get metals out of the body?
Except in-use pheresis, you mean?
Yes, except
besides
pheresis. Besides
in-use pheresis, I will put them on a protocol that first we test, and most doctors are not specialized in testing. They test hair. If you test your hair, you're testing the toxicity of your shampoo.
Right.
You're not testing really what's in your body. So you want to test what's in your soft tissue and bones, not urine, not blood. It's also not accurate.
Okay.
So how we do that, we give you a binder. We first test the baseline of your urine, how much toxicity there's in your urine, toxins. Then we give you a binder, a strong one. And then we test again. We collect your urine.
Draw these metals out of the tissue.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is called a provoked test.
Exactly.
Right. You provoke the metals out of the tissue.
Test. Yeah.
And then it shows up in the urine. Okay.
Exactly.
So now, bang, you've got high lead,
mercury.
aluminum, mercury.
Yeah. We put you on a, depends how high it is. If it's very high, then we put you on a chemical chelator, like DMSA, for example, right? But if it's cadmium in your brain, then we use another protocol.
Okay.
With the ALA and other binders. And we cycle it. It's 2 or 3 days on, 11 days off.
2 or 3 days, that's it?
Yes, it's.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Right.
Yeah, the DMSA, at least that we use, is very powerful. So it's 2-3 days on, 11 days off. In these 11 days, we replenish the minerals that the DMSA or that the binder took out, right? Because it takes the good and the bad stuff.
Right.
And then we keep cycling. 3 days on, 11 days off. 3 days on, 11 days off. And then usually after 8 to 12 weeks, depends where your baseline was, we retest you.
Yeah.
And we think, okay, it's going in the right direction. Let's continue.
Yes.
Or you're good. Usually it takes 6 months before someone is really clean. And often they come to us and said, no, but my aluminium and my cadmium is within the reference range.
Yeah.
Well, you're not born with aluminium.
Yeah.
So the reference range of aluminium should be 0.
Right.
Right. So, and same apply for mercury and cadmium, although mercury, there is some in nature. So yeah, it depends where the devil is in the detail.
Right.
And then after that, we tell them, look, go on a chlorella. Obviously we stop because there's a misconception from where heavy metals are coming. So we stop first the inbounds of heavy metals and microplastic, not drinking from plastic, not drinking from cans or tin or any types of metallic boxes where food is stored.
Right.
how you cook it, and yeah, it's a process. And unfortunately nowadays is not. You kind of have to become the CEO of your own biology.
Yeah.
And what do I mean with that? Is like 150 years ago, if you could read and write and calculate, big chance you can become a millionaire.
Right.
Now, good luck if you have a cleaning job.
Right.
Same in the 80s, if you had a master's degree, job guaranteed. Now you need to have a PhD and had several languages. And
Right.
so there is an inflation of everything, of relationship, of money, of education, but also of health. Because 150 years ago, ignorance was a blessing.
Right.
Now, ignorance is the start of many chronic diseases.
Right.
So you have to know, okay, how is it coming? What's affecting my life? Because even if you don't care about yourself, toxins are transgenerational, up
Yeah.
to 4 generations.
Wow.
Yeah, so we tested mice. We induced them with toxins, and then we put 4 generations in a controlled environment. And these toxins, that very specific toxins, was up through the sperm through 4 generations.
Wow.
So even if you don't care about yourself, at least care about your children and grandchildren.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, and I think most of us do care about ourselves. Noah, this has been amazing, man.
Thank you.
You're an absolute wealth of knowledge. I really thank you for taking great care of me today, and my daughter too. Yesterday at your clinic, I wind down all of my podcasts, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into my VIP room, and my VIPs are the community that I'm really trying to build to really make change in the world. And if you're interested in becoming a VIP, just head over to theultimatehuman.com/VIP. You can sign up to be a VIP. You can get private podcasts. You can get open Q&As with me, just like what you're hearing today, but you can ask me questions directly. You can have the 10-month course to becoming the ultimate human. You can ask the Gary AI anything. You can feed it your labs, your genetic testing. You can ask it questions about your supplements, and you'll be a part of the most thriving wellness community in the world. I promise you. So check it out if you are not a VIP right now. But before we go, I end all my podcasts by asking my guests the same question. And that is, what does it mean to you to be an ultimate human?
That's a very good question. I think it's a balance. It's being balanced between your mind and your body. That you wake up in the morning, and until you sleep, you have a constant amount of energy. And when life throw problems at you, you take them with gratitude. That for me, that is because the only people that has no problems are dead people. Right? So a guarantee in life is that you're gonna have problems, and it's not having problems is the meaning they are to you and how you deal with them. And to be able to deal with them in a beautiful way, you need to be physically and mentally strong.
Great answer. And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. So that was a great answer. Noah, thank you so much for coming on the Ultimate Human Podcast. I hope we'll have you back again. I'm spending more time over on this side of the world, so I'm sure our paths will continue to cross.
I hope so too.
And until next time, guys, that's just science.